Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Call of Duty Zombies fan, then you are going to want to strap in for this long video right here. It is a good one. It is a banger. Shout out to our boy Evan for making this series and this video. He will be linked down below, top of description. Check him out. Other than that, let's quit yapping. Let's go. Get into it. It's going to be a long video, 38 minutes, so strap in, y'all. I'm sure we'll stop at points too and have stuff to say, but it's the grand finale of BO3, as he's saying right now. So, you know, we got a lot to go through here. I'm sure it's a great video. All of his other ones have been amazing. Glad to be back. Glad he released this. Us Zombies fans can get on here. One last video on BO3 and watch it. Thank you guys so much for being here, y'all. Appreciate it so much.
The thing Revelations would become infamous for was its record-breaking Easter egg hunt.
I'll turn the audio up just a little bit.
10-day marathon that tested the community's patience in every way imaginable. And today, we will break down exactly how this thing was cracked by not only the Easter egg hunters, but also the millions.
Look at all those views, man. What a time to be in the Zombies community,
really
man.
Began over 2 months before its official September release,
loved it.
when the Gorod Krovi ending cutscene finished with a teaser for the final map. However, it would be Treyarch's impressive marketing campaign in the several weeks prior that really built up the Revelations hype. Multiple teasers and official trailers found their ways to players' screens in August of 2016.
Yeah, I loved watching all those when they released too back in the day. It was amazing. Just watch those things.
Seemed overwhelmingly positive. The vibrant colors and fantastical aesthetic.
I mean, just think about everything we had leading up to this, and Gorod was the one released right before. Like, we were living good, man. We had it so good back then.
We're unlikely to feel any better about the apocalypse flying around Revelations. Despite this, it was arguably the return of the old that was more intriguing to
I put myself over here on the left. That way, hopefully,
the
we weren't covering anyone. But of course, our boy JC was over on the left.
In Revelations,
So I covered him right there.
Toten, Horizondrock, and Origins being the most obvious from the initial teaser trailer. Comments from this content seem to outline overwhelmingly positive sentiment from the COD community towards Revelations pre-release, but things would not necessarily stay this way for everyone. While Treyarch certainly knocked it out of the park,
I also love Rev. I love the cutscenes on it. I mean, it's a great map. It really is.
Especially hyped was the effort that they put in with creators to promote this map.
I tell you, the best breakfast I'd ever had.
Oh, really?
A nice big Belgian waffle. Side of milk.
Lonely Mailbox, Laggin 24.
Golly, dude.
The Smith.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how I pulled that up. I apologize, but dude, Lonely Mailbox. If you guys weren't tapped in, you won't know, but I loved watching Jack's stuff. He was one of my favorites.
Mr. Raffle Waffles and Noah J all
Love them,
received
man.
their own
We got the
personalized
subtitles on
messages
somehow
from
to
Dr.
turn those off.
Monty. And during these short videos, a paper fragment popped up for just a few frames that could be puzzled together with the fragments from the other creator videos to form a first look at the Revelations loading screen.
That's cool. That's so cool.
Really
I don't know how people
exaggerate the feeling
from just a few frames be able to find it.
Map release of all time, and in many ways, it arguably still is.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. As I was saying,
too big for the map to truly satisfy.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Got on September 6th,
Revelations is still really cool.
Seemingly
really
not
good.
being the Revelations the developers initially intended. But before we discuss all of that,
hold on. I hope this is about like the Great War being the last map, because I'm still disappointed we haven't ever got one.
Marathon of an Easter egg was solved,
That
and why?
Can you just imagine? We have this huge battle between Apothicans.
On day one, players
that'd be
Revelations
so
full of excitement
and the Keepers,
about what
but
lay ahead. But day one actually set a completely
Revelations
different tone.
is still great.
Going to be the slowest beginning to an Easter egg hunt we had ever seen. Nowadays, we're used to the entire hunt being solved within half a day, and while that wasn't the case back then in 2016,
236 hours. I'm covering it. Oh my gosh, hold on.
Breakthroughs on day one.
236.
Major visual clues
Jeez
or interactions that help point the community in roughly the right direction. Revelations, however, was a lot more ambiguous. players set about doing the all-reliable first step of any Easter egg, unlocking Pack-a-Punch. The Pack-a-Punch quest had become more of a notable event in Black Ops 3 ever since the ritual steps in Shadows of Evil, and Revelations was no different. The Apothecon would eat the machine the moment you loaded into the map, and therefore, from the start,
which I think is a really nice touch, by the way.
To either get it out of them or get in them.
Yeah. I think that's a really nice touch, having to eat it up and then you have to get in it. It's just a cool aspect of the map, but I think just that part in the beginning is really cool.
Named Furies.
Now we just have
not furries, Furies.
now we just have
dangerous in isolation,
you know, icons on our screen that tell us how to get through the map. Nothing cool at the start. Got a rampage inducer.
Once a portal had been
about
powered,
it.
players were able to teleport to the place zombies
Can't worry about that though. Cannot worry about that.
The atmosphere is cold.
Yeah, really cool again how they tied this all in together with the storyline. I mean, I said it and I'll say it again and I'll probably say it before this video's over again. We were living good. We were living good back then. Oh, sorry, I just realized my cursor.
Of returning to the first zombies map while playing the final zombies map of the saga was quite a sentimental touch. After all of the portals had been powered, a panel would flash upstairs when the Apothecon passed, and interacting within this brief window would stun them into place, and getting close to the Apothecon during this stun state would cause this to happen.
Am I going in? Am I going in? I'm going in! I'm going in! Let's go! Ooh.
Getting sucked by the Apothecon is something I still love to this day.
Yo.
And the reveal of a new room is a trope that simply never gets old in zombies. And after shooting down the Pack-a-Punch machine from the ceiling, players had technically completed the very first step in the Revelations finale. Unlike other Pack-a-Punch rooms in the past, however, this area did have a bit more depth to it. Not only would it play a vital role in the Easter egg, do you know that this room is actually a light challenge arena too? There are increased zombie spawners in the area, and spawn zombies have increased speed.
I actually did not know that.
Caused
I don't think.
and panzers to spawn in more frequently than they would outside of the Apothecon.
I knew that. I guess I didn't know that they moved slightly faster and everything. That's actually really interesting. I don't think I knew that. You gotta remember, I'm 19 now, so 2015. Yeah, I was what, 8, 9? I guess it came out in 2016. So, gosh, what I'd have been 10. I'd have been 10 years old.
When Black Ops 3 first came out, players were excited to get their hands on one of the coolest.
Wasn't involved in everything. I was involved, but I couldn't
but
comprehend everything. That's a better way to put it.
When they realized that they could actually use some clever sleight of hand to upgrade it in the Pack-a-Punch machine. The weapon would not have an orange Pack-a-Punch camo applied.
This is still really cool.
Change, and the black hole would suddenly turn red.
I still don't understand why they
of the weapon
waited until Rev to make it like official to be able to Pack-a-Punch it instead of
to make this happen, however,
not allowing it in Shadows and
method of upgrading
people having this method to do it.
Effects that the weapon would take on led many to assume that there was a legitimate and secret upgrade method for the weapon hidden somewhere in Shadows of Evil. Treyarch understandably patched the glitch method to upgrade the Apothecon. But what shocked the community is when Activision actually started requesting takedowns or just striking down YouTube videos that guided people through the method to upgrade it. Their stance on this matter was seemingly overly harsh,
which is funny because you can still find the videos up nowadays. I mean, we're talking about it right here in this video.
Interview with Noah J possibly added some cryptic reasoning to their stance on the matter.
Okay, let me be definite and cryptic at the same time.
As expected.
Yeah. It is not possible to upgrade the Apothecon servant in Shadows of Evil.
Activision had taken their harsh stance
confirming right there that we would be able to do later on. Oh,
servant surprise on
man.
And therefore, as
I just did. I miss it. I'm geeked right now. I'm literally just over here cheesing. I hope you guys feel the same way as me, just revisiting all the nostalgia. Shout out to Evan again, man. His stuff will be linked down below. Check it out. Sub, like his video. He's got the original video. Amazing. I love how he did this series. Doing all the BO3 maps. I love it.
That donation and discovery would kick the upgrade quest into life, as a few minutes after this, Noah noticed that the appearance of the
Noah always be
machine
getting
had
donos,
subtly
by the way.
changed upon
All
his
of
collection
BO3.
of the
In
rock.
every
From
video
this
we watched with
moment, the
Evans,
community would
I'm sure you guys
spring
have
into
noticed. He gets
action and
donos.
start
They would just be
searching
telling him
far
the
and
steps.
wide for more of these glowing blue rocks.
Hey, whether
And it
it's
would take
fans or like
just
devs
under
in
an
secret,
hour for all 5
brother,
rocks to be
they
collected.
just be
And then,
picking favorites
around
out here.
7 hours into the hunt, the moment the community had been waiting for months finally happened.
7 hours before people found out you could pack a punch the Apothecary servant officially.
Yes, dude. It finally happened.
The Pack-a-Punched Apothecary Servant in Revelations finally took on the Pack-a-Punch camo. But apart from that, it was really just as it was in Shadows of Evil. A longer lasting,
Just shows that
flashier weapon with
what I was
more
talking about
ammo.
earlier, it
The
was
sheer
already in the
fact
files.
that
I
the
just
mystery had been
obviously
finally
wanted it to
solved
only be in
was
Rev.
just so
I'm just curious
satisfying to the
why.
zombies community
I mean,
in
it's a
and of
nice
itself.
secret
The
to
final
have, nice
discovery
little
on day 1
addition
was
to
actually
add in at
less
the
of a
end.
step discovery and more so
I just
the
wanna know why we
uncovering of a
couldn't have
clue
had an
towards a
upgrade and then
step.
like
This
maybe a
was when
further
Mr.
upgrade.
Waffle Waffles
You know,
posted
that'd be
a
cool.
video about the character
Still cool
gravestones
nonetheless.
that he
Don't
had
get it
noticed
twisted.
in the spawn room, with
Just
Milo
giving a
then
different point of view.
theorizing about how these may be incorporated into the Easter egg hunt.
It kind of just makes me feel like maybe these are going to be used for like a bigger Easter egg somehow. Like, what if these were brought into the Easter egg with the flowers and the candles from Gorod Krovi, and a sort of pay respects Easter egg was formed across multiple maps? Is that something that Treyarch
I
could be planning?
really wish I could
don't
find out
know.
Easter eggs
It
on
may
my
be
own.
that in a day's
I just
time
can't
this
do it.
video's
There's
already
there's
outdated,
literally
and
no
we've
way
found
I
out to
could
do
do
these
it.
things, but I wanted to post about it now
I don't
because
know how.
I just thought it was a cool thing that I noticed, and I wanted to share it with you guys.
Some of the
Milo's
craziest
theory
steps
was a
ever
little
that people find out.
overcomplex compared to the reality here, with the true requirement just needing players to shoot the headstones in the order in which the characters had died in the story. Richtofen, then Dempsey, then Takeo, then Nikolai. Day 2 actually had even less progress made towards
It's really
the main
cool.
Easter
I know
egg,
it
with
took
essentially
how
no
many
main
hours
quest
exactly?
steps
236
discovered,
hours
as the
to find this
community
out.
became
But I
utterly
like that it
sidetracked
took
by
so
side
long.
Easter
One,
eggs
because it
instead.
just shows
In
that
modern
it
day
was tough to
zombies,
find out, and
side
two,
Easter eggs are typically
people could
much
post
easier
videos
for
like
the
that and
community to spot
theorize and
sniff
everything.
out, making it easier for the hunt to remain focused on the main goal. However,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
day
yeah,
2
what I
of
was
the
literally
Revelation
just saying.
hunt, players were so
It's just
desperate
really
for a
cool that
breakthrough
people could actually
they
take
were
time,
willing
post
to
videos,
follow
theorize
any
before anything
path
was
that
actually
felt
found
like
out.
progress, and therefore
I just,
side
there's
Easter
something
eggs
neat in that, and
quickly
I
became
mean,
the
it helps the
mainstay.
community
Players
because
noticed
the more
several
videos get up,
mannequins
more
that
people
could
get
be
involved
found
in the hunt.
Peter Toten. And upon the completion of secret challenges, these mannequins would become
It's something I
outfitted
never
with
did
a
was get
mask
the
that could
wolf
be
mask.
equipped to reward players with
Or any
certain
of the masks.
benefits. These benefits included increased sprint duration, the ability to survive an
I wish I
extra hit
would've.
from zombies, increased
Again,
boss
as a
damage,
10-year-old
and
man,
much more.
I didn't know
Some
how to do
masks
all
had
that. I was just playing the
accidentally been
map.
discovered on day 1, which is why you can see Noah with purple perks when upgrading the Apothecary Servant. But it was day 2 where there was a concerted effort to actually unlock more, and it would be the Spanish YouTuber Lalagri to first upload gameplay of the so-called God Mask. The Apothecary Mask was essentially a combination of all other masks, and simply turned Revelations into easy mode with its damage buffs, incoming damage reductions, and special interactions with boss zombies around the
I like
map.
how he says
This
that.
mask, however, was
The
rather
footage, he gets
challenging
one shot.
and time-consuming to obtain, requiring players to kill every single zombie type, aside from panzers, while in the stomach acid of the giant Apothecary. For some teams, this could take hours to unlock, but the additional layer of challenge
Jeez.
did create replayability.
Hours?
Who wanted to chase
Holy.
that overpowered feeling. The masks were not the only side Easter egg discovered on day 2 though, with YouTuber Swifters posting a video showcasing the method to obtain a wall buy for the fan favorite Mob of the Dead weapon near the Dreisendrach pyramid. Although I'm a little confused why this wall buy didn't spawn in the actual Mob of the Dead area of the map. Another YouTuber
Nah, I
named
can't worry
City of
about those
Z
things. Can't worry
also
about it.
posted a video
Don't forget
about
to be our wall buy
Dreisendrach
on
block
Dreisendrach,
that could
too.
be found on this map. Noticing
The
that
wall
when he
run here
shot
for the free perk.
935 on the face,
Wonder if that's in here.
the bell would sound. Initially, he thought this was related to the main quest, but the comments below show that the community quickly realized that this was actually related to the mask and costume step instead. However, this perfectly shows just how distracting these side Easter egg quests could become to the main quest. Finally, there was one
were so
last
cool,
big
man.
discovery on day 2, but this was actually not found in game, and instead found by using a no-clip glitch in theater mode. Reddit user Pytrex uploaded a screenshot of a boss arena, but invisible barriers thankfully meant that he was unable to actually explore the arena any further.
getting that good of a shot
Day
though
3 of the
from
hunt began with Swifters
feeder mode
posting a video
is
about the gravestones that we mentioned
huge.
earlier. As
Huge.
finally, after over 48
I'd be
hours, the
geeked
community
if I was
had
the one to
noticed
find
that
that
shooting
out.
them in the correct order would cause thunder to sound and a red flame to appear on the gravestones. However, at the time, it was hard to actually confirm if this was truly the first step in the Easter egg, as there was no second step found yet to follow on from it. Having just covered the first 2 maps of Black Ops 7, it's really crazy to imagine that it took over 48 hours to discover what we know now to be the first step in the main
Yeah.
quest. And even
Again,
players at the
what I was
time
saying,
were
crazy,
stunned at
because
just
we're
how
solving Easter
difficult
eggs
this was
within
proving to be
hours
for the
now.
community. However, the community was truly not prepared for what would happen over the days that would follow. Now, you may have noticed that Noah had a small screenshot of some runes and a gate worm at the top of his screen towards the end of day 3. Those who have played Revelations will know that this is a much later step in the Easter egg. However, despite having this image, this step had not actually been discovered on day 3. Noah had gained this image via a glitch that involved dying in the offline mode. And while the exact details are a bit vague, what I was able to clarify is that this was an entirely visual glitch, and Noah had not actually completed the steps required to reach this point on day 3. Following the conclusion of day 3,
Wow.
progress
Can you imagine
grounded
finding
to
that
a halt,
from a
and quite
glitch and
literally
offline
no
solo?
progress was made for
Like,
2
how do
further
people
days.
find these things out?
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
You heard that
And
right.
obviously that's a glitch
Despite
that wasn't
hours
supposed
of
to be in the
holding
game,
square on
unlike an
every
actual
item on
Easter
the
egg
map,
step,
and
but
despite hours of
still.
shooting every object
I don't
imaginable,
know.
no progress
just-
would be made until September 11th,
crazy to me.
6 days into the hunt. The
6
discovery of
days.
step 2 in the Revelations Easter egg
And we're
is
just now finding the
undoubtedly
second
most
step.
well-hidden step in
Yeah.
the history of Call of Duty Zombies. And even once it was first discovered, it was not fully understood or really understood at all. Mr. Dalek
Ain't no
JD
joke.
was the first I found to post a video on this step, and he simply outlines that players must just take the Keeper Protector around the map, and that one of the jump pads would initiate a ritual sequence with the Keeper that, once completed, would drop an audio reel that could be played on a radio in Nocturne Toten. While Dalek's method could be followed to complete this step, it's clear that he, like the rest of the community, really didn't understand what they were doing at all.
Yeah, I still
In
don't fully
hindsight,
understand
we
this
know
step
that
even
shooting the
today.
gravestones
Just because
triggers a
I would
piece of a
say,
rock to spawn behind one of the jump pads. And
heck,
this is the
maybe even
pad
5
that
years
the
ago, so
Keeper
I was
must be
14.
taken to. But this
Me and my
was
buddy actually
completely
completed the Rev
unknown at
Easter
the
egg,
time.
and on
During
this
the
step,
hunt, there was
I didn't really
little
know the steps of the
reaction
Easter
to the
egg.
difficulty of this step.
So
Aside
he was
from
leading
some
me.
making jokes that the egg would
Oh,
not be solved
so
before the
confusing when you don't know what's
Revelations
going on. I love knowing what's
release.
going on when I'm
However,
doing
this step would
Easter eggs. It
prove
just
to
makes
be
the
the start
process
of
so
some
much simpler.
controversy following the Easter egg completion, but we'll get to that later. As day 7 of the hunt rolled around, a pretty massive breakthrough was made by the community. But strangely, this was not the discovery
A
of
week,
an
bro.
individual
A
step,
week
and
in,
instead,
and we're just not
something
getting there.
else. The use of another
Sheesh.
theater mode glitch caused certain objects to disappear in the file playback. These objects were not random though. The objects that disappeared were all of the interactable objects on the map. This helped the community
So we're
massively,
cheesing
as
now.
it gave
So
them
we're cheesing.
clues as to what would play a role in the Easter egg, with the gateworm deposit locations and the egg deposit locations in the Apothecon being notable, well-hidden examples alongside others.
So this means that these locations might be vital to the main Revelations Easter egg, and perhaps we can explore them a little bit more.
The release of the information was certainly helpful to hunters, but it didn't instantly accelerate the hunt to completion, as knowing about interactable locations didn't really mean anything if you still remain clueless on how to get there. And as such, the hunt progressed into an 8th day. Despite all
Wow.
that we've discussed so far, as
Over
September
a
13th
week.
rolled around,
And it's not solved.
only
This
2
isn't the
steps
last
of the
day.
main
It's
Easter
not
egg quest
solved
had
yet.
actually been completed.
8
The
days
first
in.
video of the next step I could find was from Mr. Raffle.
I
Waffles,
wish-
but at this
I
point in the
wish we
hunt,
could get something
so
like
much
that
of the
today.
progress can be accredited to the
Oh.
community as a whole rather than a specific
Think about it.
individual.
Well,
after so many
what
days
grade
of
are you in
testing.
when you're 10 years
Milo's
old? I don't know.
video
Is that 5th grade?
detailed how throwing little Arnie's
Maybe.
into the 9
Just quick
separate
math in it
holes
there.
in the Apothecon
Whatever grade
would
I
cause
was
yet
at 10 years old.
another audio
Me
reel to
and my
spawn
buddies
in.
who
What made
played
this
would
step
show up
so
school,
well hidden hidden.
I remember
is the
we'd
fact
like be
that
talking
even while
about
the
it.
step is
We'd go
active,
home for the
zombies
week or the
continue to
weekend. Go
spawn
home for the
from
rest of the
very
night when
holes
school's
you
out.
have to throw Arnie's into.
Go
And with no natural
look at what's
spawn
been found
points
out,
like
which
rebuildable
wasn't
barriers
much.
inside of the
Obviously, you know, we're on the 8th
apothecary,
day
it
here.
seemed
We're just
like
now
the
getting to
hole's
the 3rd
only
step.
purpose were to spawn in
And then
zombies.
we would
Thankfully,
just
though,
load the map and
unlike
play.
most of the
One,
Easter
because
eggs
we didn't
so
know how to
far,
do the Easter egg, and
Treyarch
2,
did
we're
actually
10
add a
years old,
slight
man. We're
clue
just
here for
out there having fun.
players, as if more than one Arnie was thrown into the
What a
same
time.
hole, a laugh would sound indicating
I'm getting
that
so much
something went
nostalgia
wrong.
right
And
now.
this is possibly what helped
Reminiscing with
point
you guys.
players in the right direction. Players would place the second reel down and once again become engaged with the lore dumps. The discoveries on day 8 did not end there, however, with the infamous bone step also being entirely discovered on this day too. Noah and Dalek had
Okay.
been told about a
So we found
floating
another
skull
step
in Shangri-La
on
that
day
could be
8.
sucked up by the upgraded apothecant servant. However, when they got there, they couldn't see the floating skull at first, until someone shot it to make it float. And it is this mechanic that made this step so infamously tough to crack. Once floating, the bones are somewhat easy to see. Well, maybe not easy, but certainly not impossible. But in order to make the bones float, players had to shoot random spots near the bones with annoyingly pinpoint accuracy.
It reminds me of
with
the
bones
Step
all
on
but
Ashes that
completely
came out
hidden before this
just recently
random
when
spot
Ashes
was
released.
shot.
We have to shoot
With the help
the
of a
Mr. Peaks around the
massive
map and you
community
can't see them.
effort, Noah and his team collected the bones from Verrucht, from Spawn, from Origins, from Shangri-La, and Nocturne and Toten on day 8, with some being much harder to see than others. But one remained unfound. On day 9 of the hunt,
Is that on the wall
the
run?
Revelation story
Wait,
would take a
wait,
wild
wait,
turn
wait.
when what can only be described as the zombie Riddler showed up, and many were happy to see this specific person suddenly appear. A data miner named The Real DF had reportedly mined key info,
Huge.
but instead of just
Huge.
making the data mine
Making the
available
data
to
or
all, he would
the
create a
Easter egg
cipher for the
progress here.
community to solve. DF would post some cryptic messages, and eventually
See,
the
that's cool too.
community
He
would
didn't just
crack the
straight up
cipher
give
to
the
read,
You are
answers.
close.
If he is an
Main
actual data
Easter egg
leaker.
needs one more reel. Then your bones. Find all of them. And meet Sophia in every form. Let's teleport to a familiar place. Use the worm. Get the real AS. Now, let's wait for everyone to get the map and get super.
Yeah, that's
In
cool.
hindsight,
That's really
the cipher
cool.
reveals fairly accurate,
'Cause he didn't
yet
just
vague
tell them what it was. He
information
put it in
about
a cipher
further
and people had to
steps for the
figure that out.
Revelations Easter egg. And it's hard
Like,
to
adds
know
to the
how
Easter
much
egg itself.
DF actually knew
If it's a
about
real
how to
miner,
complete it.
data miner,
However, he
or,
was known to be a
you know,
notable data miner who did
someone who
reportedly
might
have the
be in the
hardware to
community.
obtain the Easter egg steps. And if that is the case,
At
I think
Treyarch
it's quite
and
admirable he only
give the
gave a
answers,
hint
but-
rather than leaking detailed steps
Yeah,
as to ruin
see?
the hunt. The
Yeah,
cipher,
you agree with me.
however, did not give any clues on where the last bone could be found. But as day 10
That's
of the
tough.
hunt
On the
rolled
wall
around,
run,
Noah and his determined
I
community
still didn't know
managed
that.
to
It's
find
been
it well hidden
10 years,
in the
and I
wall
still didn't know
section
that.
of Dreisendracht. With the last bone in hand, Noah J brought all of the bones
told you when
to
I
Knobs,
went and redid it anyways with my buddy.
This happened.
Bones are actually gonna
He
go
carried
up
me.
into that body.
At
I'm
most,
gonna
I
make
was
sure the zombie
14,
doesn't
I
die out
think.
here.
Maybe 15.
Hello, buddy. You stay over here with
But I
me,
just didn't
stay
know the
over here with
steps.
me. Okay, so these things explode, and boom, we have ourselves the Sophia zombie. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited, dude.
I do remember
Actually,
that
I'm
part
actually,
when we
like,
did it.
shaking right now. This is so
Her
exciting
body
because
showing
now
up,
this could be
and we got the
point
bones,
where
but I never
entire Easter egg
retrieved the
just
bones.
blows
My
open
buddy
right
did
now.
that all himself.
Sophia in the flesh. Well, rotten flesh was now in Nocturne and Toten, but not for long.
now
as
what do
Noah
you
would
do with
quickly
her?
Find out.
She's gone.
She's gone.
She dropped a
She's
reel.
gone. We have the audio reel. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hold on. Everyone, don't panic. Don't panic.
Placing the final reel in the Origins area drops some insane lore about Maxis and Sophia for Zombies fans. Next, Noah immediately thought to return to the place he just obtained the reel, and this is where he'd see the ghost of Sophia for the first time, which was an exciting realization for those playing back then. At this point in the hunt, Noah really started.
Imagine if
cooking
somebody
with
did that step and they
gas
just
as he
never
quickly
looked
cracked
up
the next
and never
steps
knew.
by shooting the blue floating rocks with the
Hopefully that
turrets
didn't
had
happen,
been first
but
interacted with in order to open
I
up
do
the
remember
lock
doing this step
portals.
too. This was really fun
the
to
days
do.
upon days of slow progress finally felt like they were paying off as the community began to piece together all the little things they had noticed, with even Noah referencing the fact that living inside Revelations for so long had helped give them options for testing. After Noah had shot all 4 turrets, he went back to Noct, and something amazing happened. Sophia returned to her more physical ball form and began floating towards Kino der Toten, and I'll let Dr. Monty narrate it from here.
Look, I know everything's gone to hell in a handbasket, but I'm really glad to see Maxis has got himself a bird now. I know she's a little bit drony, but I can fix her.
Got himself a bird.
For the first
about
time in the
Sophia, it's
entire
funny.
Revelations hunt, the game presented the most obvious hint as to what the next step was, as Sophia planted herself on top of the Kino teleporter. However,
Lip's
when
getting a little
Noah
chapped, y'all.
used this
Had to toss some
teleporter,
chapstick
he
on.
did not get
Chillax,
taken to the
chillax.
traditional Kino der Toten projector room, and instead, he found himself in the bedroom from the Origins final cutscene. This bedroom was not just for sentimental reasons though, as Noah would need to pick up the Chronorium from this room in order to continue. Noah would place this book on the podium in Kino der Toten where the machine gun would typically sit in Black Ops 1. And by placing this, he was finally able to understand
Shout out Kino, by the
meaning
way.
of the egg-shaped
I still love that
silhouettes
map.
Players had noticed
Lots
in
of
their
people have it
HUD from the
overrated.
very start.
I admit,
The
but
4
it's
eggs
still
had
really good.
several
But
different
you
spawns
can't put it
around the
over
map that would
like
change
Horizon
from
Rock and
game to
Origins
game.
like some people
However,
do. I think
unlike
that's
some other
insane.
sections' Easter egg, they were bright and mostly easy to spot, allowing players to find them pretty quickly. Every time Noah picked up an egg, he had to journey inside the Apothecon and place it inside of one of 4 interactable areas that had been exposed with the theater mode glitch earlier. Once placed, the egg would turn into a soul box that would transform into a gate worm once it was filled.
What a cool
As Noah
Easter
was
egg, man. The
solo
more we
here,
go
he had
in,
to complete
the more
this
steps we
process 4
find.
times, but those
It's just
hunters
so
in a
cool.
squad of 4 were able to do 1 each. Once players had picked up a gate worm, a very interesting step would start, as players would now need to play a game of hot or cold, with a pinging noise that would play and would get faster and faster with the beeps as players neared the correct location to place the gate worm. The theater mode glitch that would expose all interactable objects made it easy to find all 4 locations here, but
Yeah,
the sound hint cue was
a little bit of
so
a bummer,
helpful
but
that it wasn't really needed anyway.
Man,
With
it's a-
all
it's a glitch,
4
so what are you
rooms
gonna do about it?
acquired, Noah was now
The designs on
able to
those look
enter
sick,
a
by the way.
boss fight
I love
with
the
a
designs.
summoning circle in the Kino der Toten projector room, clearly outlining where the runes had to be placed. Over 9 days after the hunt started, Noah found himself in the boss room that the theater mode no-clip glitch had leaked several days earlier. But this time, he could of course explore the entire room that was populated
And start
with
the boss
summoning
fight.
key, with Furies, with the Chronorium, and an angry-looking Apothecon. The only thing Noah was able to interact with
This is a really cool boss fight arena.
But by opening it, Noah inadvertently started a small puzzle in and of itself. The puzzle was rather simple, as all he had to do was read the book, then find the symbols that matched it. But with the stress of zombies, Furies, and the world's first Revelations title on the line, it was no doubt tough for Noah. However, in true zombies fashion, right as Noah was getting in the swing of things, the somewhat inevitable happened.
Oh no. Not the blue screen. No, not the blue screen. That's tough.
Why does this always happen to me? This is the second boss fight I've been first in the world to, and the second boss fight my game has crashed on.
While this was extremely unfortunate, I have learned through my coverage of both modern and OG zombies that crashes and disconnects at pivotal moments are
Just
incredibly
happens.
common for Noah. So maybe this was really not that surprising.
It's frustrating,
Noah's
but it
suffering would
happens.
not end
Wish it
here,
didn't
however,
happen. It's like
and he would
injuries in
continue to
sports.
crash again and again.
Wish it didn't,
in
but-
future runs, with one crash even occurring while he was simply spectating Dalek's progress. These
That's tough.
crashes were not exclusive to Noah though, and indicative of a wider blue screen epidemic that plagued Revelations, and something that Mr. Raffle Waffles will discuss later. Lucky players who had progressed through this step
Does anyone actually know
did
like
not
the
crash,
reasoning behind it?
were
Like
now in a
why was
race
it?
to reach the end,
I don't know,
with their
especially in
first
BO4
task
it was
being
super
to figure
bad.
out
But
what to
why
do
was it
with
actually
the
happening?
summoning key that was now
sure
quite
there's an answer out there. I just
literally
need to look
in
it up.
their hands. While it was essentially just a reskin of the uplink ball for multiplayer, the summoning key
It's
actually
still really cool to
functioned
hold the
more
summoning
like an
key. Come on now,
additional
come on
wonder
now.
weapon. The golden ball did infinite
Awesome.
damage with its melee, and would easily kill a couple of zombies when thrown at a horde. It can be passed around teammates, and a small detail that people often overlook is that if you ever lose track of the ball, the original box beam would be lit up in the sky as a way to find it.
It's also really
Players
cool.
leading this charge in the
I did not
final
know that,
day
mainly
were the
because I've only done
relatively
Easter egg once,
unknown
and when we
duo
did it,
of Big
we-
Heck
I mean,
225
we solved it. We
and
just got through the
Bowtie
step.
Geek, who were sprinting through each
As quick as we
location,
could, pretty much.
throwing the ball at everything until they finally made a breakthrough.
Throw it.
Oh,
means we need to throw
poster
it,
did
do
something. Oh, the poster did something.
What did it do?
Well, it spun. Samantha popped
It is
up and gave me
fun.
the ball back. What was that?
The duo would quickly theorize after this that the objects the summoning key would need to be thrown at were basically famous props from the history of zombies. These included the Origins
Smart.
tombstone, the Shangri-La ball, the Varuk turret, the Dreisendrach clock, the Kino radio, and finally, the red barrel and Nocturne totem. And once they hit
The
their
barrel,
last
oh
prop,
my gosh.
the summoning key did not
What a nice
return,
nice
which
little piece to put
suggested
on there.
that they had completed the step. And now, something
I know y'all
special
played
awaited.
Knocked on World at War. You should
This
just shoot
duo
the barrels
now
when the
found
zombies running up. I
themselves
know you
as
have.
the
I know
first in
you
the
have. I know
world
I
to
have.
enter the final boss fight of Revelations.
Nice. I don't know.
Lock
Look for
in.
wherever we go. Oh, come on.
Wait, what?
Damn it, we're back here.
Oh,
Lock in.
Second part of the boss.
what?
Over 900 viewers were watching.
That's funny.
Big Heck
They went from being
stream
so
as they
disappointed to
entered
being
the
back
teleporter
to
the
them so
final
hyped once
boss.
they
And over
realized.
1,200 were watching just a few seconds later when they actually landed in the arena. However, what makes this even crazier is when you realize Big Heck actually only had one viewer around an hour earlier. But
That
Big
is
Heck
crazy.
couldn't focus on this. They had to lock in or risk dying and losing the world's first
right.
to another team. The final fight here was a slightly tweaked variant of the fight that players had against the Shadow Man in Black Ops 3's first map,
Hey,
Shadows of Evil.
still
Every
really cool,
single
if you ask
special
me.
zombie on the map was being thrown at the duo. But
Literally.
despite this, I can't say that the fight was actually that difficult. The team had to use the summoning key at one of the fountains. as a
The one
soul
time I did
bar,
it, I
then
think
pick it
you
up and throw it at
definitely
Sophia,
want to
who
have
would then laser
the
Shadow
Polygon server
Man.
and
Then,
the
much
Thunder
like in
Gun
Shadows of
if
Evil,
you're,
players had to shoot him a bunch
not
of
doing
times
solo if you're
until he
with
was
2,
as
3, or
far
4
back
people.
into the apothecary's
Definitely want
mouth
those.
as
It
he
makes
could
it
be,
so
before
easy.
interacting with the book to end the fight and trigger the final cutscene, crowning Big Heck and Bowtie Geek as the world's first team to complete the Revelations Easter egg. 10 long days after
10
launch.
days,
Despite
bro,
the
10
cutscene saying
days.
otherwise, this was actually not the end of Revelation's story, as the community fallout and discussion following the map would be so divisive, it's still debated fiercely to this day. While initial reactions to
I
the
loved
map,
it. I
its
don't know.
Easter egg and
The
ending
outro
were
cutscene, of
positive,
course.
As the dust settled, cracks in the positivity
it's
would
amazing.
begin to show.
Sad as I am to say this, it's just marred by the fact that there's been so many errors with this map.
Mm-hmm.
It really,
Yeah.
really is.
I'm checking
What's
my
Milo on
trophies.
about, man?
Just can't help feeling like all of the crashing that everyone has experienced just made this so much less enjoyable than it should have been.
The
Yeah, I mean,
immediate disappointment of
I can't disagree
crashing
with that.
issues was really only the tip of the
So it
iceberg.
drove a lot of
however.
people away from
As more
BO4,
criticism
just in
would
general.
begin to
I mean,
flood
myself
in
included. It was tough.
post-completion. While the
I
returning locations
did.
in
Still love
Revelations
9
had
though,
excited
but
some, many
we tried to do
felt
the Easter eggs
pretty
so many times,
underwhelmed
it just
that the
crashed.
final
We never
map of this
successfully did it. I would
zombie
love to,
saga was
to this day.
essentially just a collage
To
of
this
all
day.
of the maps that they had played over and over again before. There was no new wonder weapon, only the return of old ones. And apart from a very cool aesthetic, the level of evolution.
See,
in
and this is a
final
take
map
that I
was
can
pretty
understand,
underwhelming compared to DLC
but at the
4's
same
that had come
time,
before it.
I
Moon had
can
given players their first space experience.
see the
And an
complete
epic
opposite side
ending
of
at
it
the end
because
of Black Ops
it's
1.
the ending of it. You
Origins
want it
became
to
the
all
most
tie in
important
together.
map
Think
in
about
Zombies
Avengers
history,
Endgame.
and changed the way that
Everything
players
ties
view
in
both
together. It's the
Easter
same
eggs
same
and
thing,
wonder
just
weapons
with
forever.
Call of Duty
While
Zombies.
Revelations just
I
kinda
personally
gave us
loved
a
it.
trip down memory lane. From
So,
a narrative
it
perspective,
doesn't bother
it
me.
made complete sense why Treyarch wanted to gather their greatest moments together
Yeah,
for the
see?
grand Zombies finale. But the trade-off
Exactly.
here is that the gameplay doesn't feel brand new and necessarily deserving of the hype that came in the build-up. What adds a little more fuel to this
Really?
fire is the fact that in May of the following year, Treyarch released these Zombies Chronicles for Black Ops 3, which was a remastered pack of OG maps that included
Which
many
was
of the locations
crazy, by
found
the way.
within
It went
Revelations.
huge.
While I'm not for 1 second suggesting that Treyarch created Revelations only because it was easy, the fact Zombies Chronicles was in the plans, in my opinion, means that there was much less of a need for Revelations' nostalgic layout. Criticism also came in regarding the Easter egg too, with once again many people saying that the egg was simply not fitting of the grand finale it was meant to be. The entire hunt really just came down to finding and interacting with something that was obscurely hidden. While it's completely understandable
Maybe I'm,
that Treyarch
you know,
wanted a
blinded just
long
because I
hunt
was
for
a
the
youngin'
finale,
back then.
I can't help but feel that the
But
steps were simply not
think it's
impressive
great.
enough to be hidden so well, especially when you compare it to the more impressive puzzle solving needed in Origins.
Honestly, I'm really in like 2 doesn't even begin to describe. I'm in like 17 different places with this Easter egg. I think that it was well meant. I just can't help but feel like there were things in there, specifically those early steps with the rocks, that were just poor. I just think that they were poor decisions.
Time and time again, I've said in Zombies and Destiny as well that the length of a hunt does not always correlate to the quality of it.
Which I can agree with as well.
The reasons behind this negativity may stem from one of the map's most intriguing stories. That being that the fact that the revelations we received was actually very different to the revelations that Treyarch had originally intended. Revelations is far
Please,
from a bad
I hope
map.
this is the Great
It's a
War
very
I was talking
good
about
map
earlier.
and would beat the vast majority of
It
COD
would have
Zombies
been
maps in a
easily
direct head-to-head, but
the greatest
absurd
thing we've
amount
ever
of
seen.
content cut prior to launch certainly holds it back from being the GOAT for many players.
Which
The most
sucks,
famous
man,
of
which
Is
sucks.
the cut chicken feed side Easter egg.
Always
From
sucks
what
to
we
see it.
know,
It's going on with
revolved
BO7
around
right now. They're
growing
already having to
eggs in
cut
the spawn
funds. They
room
claim they're
chicken
not
coop. And while we
gonna
don't
change
know the
anything up with
exact
zombies,
reward,
but I
it would have granted a
I just don't know
replacement
that
to
I
the
can
trip
believe it.
mine, and likely similar to the spider bait Easter egg from Zetsubo no Shima or the chicken power-up found in Dead Ops Arcade. There were also 2 major map features that were cut as well, including a rather vague sounding challenge arena that would have most likely been in the Kino der Toten teleporter and would have rewarded
Really?
players for completing difficult challenges. Furthermore,
See, now that would have
Treyarch
been
had
cool.
originally planned for there to be more distinct map islands, many of which ended up only making small cameos with Shinonuma, Zetsubo no Shima, Buried, the Ruby Rabbit, and a few more being examples of locations originally playing a larger role.
Wow,
in
can
the
you imagine having
developer's
all
plan.
of those on top of what we already
Other
have?
features were cut fairly late
Easily
in development too,
just
due to memory
peak,
issues.
man,
the
peak.
rocket shield found in Shadows of Evil and Dreisendrach could be seen in a trailer just a week before release, but would not feature on the map. It was switched for the dragon-inspired shield found in Gorod Krovi instead. Swimming from Zetsubo,
Yeah, I wonder why
all
they did
previous
that.
Black Ops
Was it the
3
memory?
wonder
Did he say
weapons
that?
and all
If he did,
specialists
apologies.
were
I was
supposedly
yapping, I think.
meant to make a return too, but were cut for the same reasons. 2 more elemental Margwas were also
I mean, is it
disappointingly cut, which would have
really
certainly
even
made
their
boss fight
fault
far more
if they can't?
interesting.
Like, we didn't have the tech
most
back then.
impactful type of cut
They could probably
content
do it
surrounded
now.
the Easter
I
egg
guarantee
and
they
its
could, actually.
rewards. It was originally rumored that players would get the choice to side with either the Shadow Man
That would be
or
really
Dr.
cool
Monty, with the reward
if we got all
being
that
a
things
new
and if we
announcer
got
for the
this
map, with
right
dialogue
here,
suggesting this
the
being
2 different
found in
sides you
early
could like
builds.
pick which
Cut
one you want to
Easter egg
side with.
steps were also
Don't get me
found
wrong,
in
those would have been
earlier updates
amazing
that may have added
and
much
definitely
needed
added to the map,
variety
I
and
think.
a quite boring Easter
still
egg,
think
with
it's good
triggers for
as
the
is, though.
Ascension rocket and Pack-a-Punching the summoning key uncovered. Finally, there was a cut super Pack-a-Punch found for completing all of the Easter eggs on the main maps, and would have had a bunch of different effects, such as dropping Mega Gobblegums on kill. However, this would never
Nah,
materialize,
that's
and players
crazy.
would have to instead
We
settle for
cannot
the
have
Arc
that.
A5
That would be
starting
way
pistol
too
and a few
overpowered.
other
I'm sorry,
bonuses
we
that
cannot.
came with a Revelations completion instead. I've only
Million
really
XP.
discussed the tip of the iceberg
Think about that
when
real
it
quick.
comes to
A
cut
mil?
Revelations content, and I would
Crazy.
recommend watching this video by the Gaming Revolution or reading this Reddit post by Derpy Box if you want to know even more.
All right.
Revelations is not a
Huge,
bad map
huge,
by
huge.
any means, and it
Yeah.
has so many lovable
Closing statements here.
qualities, but it's a real shame that many of these features never reached the player's screens, as I think many of them would have massively helped to make Revelations live up to a bit more of the hype that it promised. That brings us to the end of our Black Ops 3 journey for
Awesome.
now, however, and I want to
Great
thank
journey.
each and every one of you who tuned in.
Shout out Evan again, man. We covered each of these videos. He'll be linked down below. As I said, absolutely amazing job by him. Well done. Loved watching this series. I would love to watch more. So I don't know if he wants to get on that. Something else you check out, Derpy. He's a zombies YouTuber. He did like everyone's reaction to each Call of Duty zombies game. Really cool to watch that. But that is all I got. I don't want to keep yapping. Long video. I told you guys it would be. It was enjoyable. So very good. Shout out Evan one more time. Down below in the description, top of it. Check them out. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Let me know what you guys thought on Revelations. I think it's a really good map. I have it at top of my B tier in terms of all time in COD Zombies. Maybe even slide it to bottom A if I'm feeling, really generous those days. But thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Hope you guys did. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Love y'all. Peace.